Hi, hello, welcome everyone. This is your host, Peter, and we are here to look at trade possibilities and what we are expecting from this market in the coming week. We are going to start with DXY, and I'm going to touch on a couple of other trades or instruments that we do: DXY, Euro Dollar, NZD USD, Pound USD, gold. I will be doing a solo on USD JPY. I might not include USD JPY in this, or I may just briefly talk about it, but I will go deeper more into USD JPY alone. We've been tracking USD JPY for quite a while now. So let's get to it. This is monthly time frame. Now, so far, we are seeing this price break the 2023 top, but after a year, we have seen it taking to the upside. Then we are seeing clearly this rejection right from the top here. So we are not seeing any price action appearing on the monthly to suggest what may be happening. Are we ready to turn to the downside? But again, if you look at the magnitude of the pullback or the reaction at the top there, it's highly suggestive that maybe we're now coming to the downside. And I will tell us how to proceed, because at times it's very difficult for anyone to pick the top with the market makers. All we can do is to anticipate and plan. You must have a good plan on how to exit if you're on the wrong side, and how to enter into the right side. This price gave us, time to change the trend. And right now, with this reaction, have we ended the move to the upside? We're going to look at that. 2 or 3 things are possible here. We may have picked and we may have ended this move. Why? Because looking at this as a W, X, and a Y, these had broken slightly 100 extension to the upside, just slightly, which can still be allowed. And we can say this is good enough for A and the pick of B to see a C to the downside. And if it's going to grow to be a 1, a 2, and a 3, we'll see all that. But that is still far. But in the immediate, we had seen this reaction. So price may actually finish its move here. It is allowed, and they can begin to come to the downside. So how are we going to progress? Because we have been anticipating that yes, we want to sell, we want the dollar to be weakened, and we want to be cautious also selling the dollar. And again, buying it, we have to be also cautious buying it, because we need to see reactions here. And the monthly candle had not shown clearly if we are coming to the downside or not. We are going to now see how to break down from the monthly to the weekly and to the daily. Then we scale down to know how to plan. Now, looking at this on the monthly, we had seen this reaction to the downside on DXY. So the first possibility, like I said, is that we may have ended to change the trend to the downside. Number 1 possibility. Number 2 possibility is that we may see this move to have gone deep to give us a B wave. Probably this may be, or let's say, yes, it may be an A wave that has ended, probably to see a B wave correction, which is deep, and a more C wave to the upside, which may react at about 110. That's the second possibility. The third possibility is that we may see, oh, price is just going down to give us last wave to the upside to get to 110. Whatever it is, the time, the price is going to give us maybe one more last chance to plan ourselves, if you're on the wrong side of the trade, to know how to exit. If you are going to begin to look into the seasonality of DXY and US dollar, we know that towards November-December period, dollar still gains strength and show kind of strength that we expect. But then, who says it cannot be different if you are expecting dollar to be strong in December and it's right now beginning to fall? And maybe the strength you're going to see briefly in the dollar in December is more of a pullback or correction to the upside. And that is what we are going to look at. So what information can we get here? We are going to pay attention to something here, that if we had ended this move to the downside, all you can do now is to buy as if you are buying a pullback. And what sort of pullback that is going to be, we're going to look at it. What sort of pullback is going to be, we're going to look at it. Because these had moved almost half of the month to the downside. And it's a big move. It's a very big move to have moved from here down to this place. Almost half of the entire journey had, taking place to the downside. It's not a small correction. It's a deep move. And we're going to look at it. So in our attempt to look, if you are buying now shortly against the dollar, along the line of the dollar, if you are buying, we should be buying to look at this area. Number one, where do you have this close here as a possible area to exit, or better still, at the top of this candle, this vicinity, these are the areas you can begin to look to exit your buy in case we are going to change the direction. But when we now go into the weekly, we'll probably be able to define that zone. But this can actually turn back. What information now do we have on the weekly time frame? On the weekly time frame, that's the DXY. Wow. This is a big move. And these had erased the entire week here. These had erased the entire week here. So for me, I'll be very careful to say I want to continue to buy the dollar here. I would be very, very careful to say I want to continue, because this had erased the entire week. But having said that, if we are looking at, let's look at the history here. Anytime we are changed direction, we change direction here, this didn't erase the entire week. It went back correctively to correct and to give us a diagonal before this move. Each time we had seen a movement that erased a particular week, most of the time, it may be the end of the move in that direction because it has been erased. And look here, we had this move, this erased it, and that was the end. Look here, even it ended in the doji, it erased a complete 1 week. The price just barely moved up to cap the top again, and they change direction. So the first weekly candle closure speaks volume. That is what we are saying. Look here. This one just went back up to actually take up, and the second one, and that's the end of it. Look here. We had this move, of course, is just at the peak. It didn't erase it, so it was a correction. Where we had an erasure, because more of consolidation here was when we add this one, they now came down to erase this particular one, and that was the end. It was probably a bit difficult here too, because it kept on going. So you might need to look at the internal structure there. Here also, it was after we had this to completely erase this that we began to move to the downside. Here, a complete erasure, we went to the. So even here, when we add that turning, it was the first one, we never erased this. So there was no clear intention. We went back up, we came back down, up again, until we saw this engulfing candle erasing this entire week. So it broke it to the downside. Now, with that said, let's go back to where we are. We see a complete erasure of this weekly candle, and that, I will say, it will be dangerous for anybody to want to continue to buy dollar to the top. We had seen this reaction at about 108. We thought that it would, around 108, it was going to get, stalled, and it just broke a bit above it, which is still allowed. So for me and you, I think we may have seen the end of the dollar. If anything we're going to see now will be a kind of a correction to the upside, and that may be a wave too. Even though it came down like this in a flash, you think in a flash for a week, and we had this reaction. Wave one, when it's building, you never can tell if it's going to be a wave one or a wave four, or it's correcting, but not until you now begin to see the candle formation and the closure. So for me, I think we have reached the end of this, and I will want to take it that way, except something else changes now. So how do we plan? So if you want, we are going to plan to buy now. I would take that what we had seen is like a wave one. If you're going to buy, we are going to look into the area of resistance that this can turn again. So I wouldn't want to bet that this is going to break this top. These are closed here. So all what I will be watching for now is this area, which is number one. We're going to be looking at the high confluence area, that area for the price to get stalled. Let's use this color for it. That will be the first area that I'll be looking. And if we get past this, which may be unlikely, this is the weekly candle, to come to the week, I wouldn't want to bet that. So that area, then between that and this area, I'm teaching us how to use candle closure first before we begin to look into the wave count. So also at the base here, so this candle closed here, another one open here, this one also closed here, another one open here. So we are seeing within this area of the probably the pink now, that's where we should expect price to come to. But where will be the high confluence area for me will be at the top of this wick here, this one here. So we have mapped out that area. Now, this area, now let's go and see on the monthly what is going to come to, and see the area that we may be looking for price to probably retest before we go further down to the downside. So let's look at the monthly candle again. Now, looking at the monthly candle now, we want to see which area that is going to come to around this area. So let me bring out the drawing. So bringing out the drawing, Oh, the drawing is not, I think it's the network now that is not loaded. It's not up there because we walked around this area. So let's load it again. So it's going to drop. I think it will drop over time. One has dropped. One has dropped. The second one has dropped. Let's allow the top to drop. So the third also had dropped now. So now let's try to zoom. So looking at that, you would see that around this area, this wick broke up here. So we can safely walk around this wick because the second it passed this one also laid perfectly at the area here where we think it will be like a resistance here, another resistance here, another resistance here. Between this zone is what it's the high probability zone, but I will pick this as a median, okay? So that is what we can see there. We can see that the second one is a median where price may touch. And so if you had been buying, wrongly, that will be an area for you to exit your buy if you have been buying and to look for yourself. I hope somebody is understanding this. So looking at that, we had mapped that area on the monthly. So we quickly go to the weekly. You can use this to interpret your euro dollar. So now we know again that this area of the week here will be the high confluence area, the median where you should expect. Price may pull beyond here, and price may not break here. Price breaking this area, then you should be considering this as your stop loss, except something breaks above it. This will not be an area I will expect price to take for now. If this will close on Sunday like this, it's an engulfing candle, and it's likely a move that suggests we are come to the downside. Now, going on the daily, what can we see? What we can see on the daily, on the DXY, is this formation. And I believe this had been going downward, sluggishly. And with one can be like that. See, we had broken this with 4 here. This now is a wave 4. So the way it had gone now is that we were thinking that we were going to do a major 4 to go to the upside. So let me come again on the daily. We had seen this move as a wave A, and we had seen this move as a wave B. It can be actually very, very tricky. And that this move, it's a wave C of an A, B, C of the leg of the Y, which I believe it has terminated right now. So we had seen this also as a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5. We had thought that we were going to do at least a major 4 if from here to here we are taking out with 3. That this will be a 4, and we're going to see one more push to the upside before we come down. But with 4 here, this had been broken, that has been taken. So it has changed our perspective of that we are still going to break the top right now. So it has changed all of that. It has changed all of that. And when we consider that this is a wave 2 and this is wave 3, and let's look at the trend line, the way I used to draw my trend line to see if wave 3 is completely gone here. This is where you apply everything that you know from here. And if we draw it up there, so this suggests that wave 3 is completely gone because we are broken out here. that we are thinking that this may be a wave 4. So we are seeing a break out of what a wave 3 is. And if we are thinking this is a wave 4 major, is it really still a wave 4 major? I don't think so. Now we're going to look inside or inward. The last area here also cap this area as a possible area of the resistance that I don't see price coming to break now. This is 100 here, and it's just a slight break. You know, it can be like that. You keep guessing them. Now, if we say that this is a micro 4 in the yellow, which has been broken now, and we want to go down to take this as a 2, a wave 2. Now, the limit of correction of wave 4 major, has it been taken? The limit of wave 4 major actually from 2 should be around this area. It has been taken. Also 50, which should be the last place. The 50 retracement is at even this primary 4 has been taken. So for me and you, everything is looking more like we are done and price is going down. We are not just in it. So if I were you, I would be looking for a wave 2 pullback to sell the dollar. That is what I can see right now. I don't see the dollar going up to break the top or test 110 area again. So that is what I can see here. So I can push that to you so that you understand. Now, managing your trade now is like you now want to begin to count what exactly is happening here. What wave are we? The DXY will now throw light. What wave are we? We should finish this and come to the upside again. Now, looking at this now, on the DXY, we are done as far as I'm concerned. Let's now draw this. We want to guide ourselves. This will be an important place that we don't expect price to, to take for now to guide us. So let me take this out. I don't want too much of a drawing, but I believe this has done its work. This is wave 3, this is wave 4, and wave 5. We are done an impulse. The first impulse, second correction, second impulse, fourth correction, the last impulse, and we are coming to the downside right now. That is what I can see. So in marking this area of wave 1 and wave 2 here, would I believe that on the daily, what we can see, it's a move, flash to the downside. Let me take this out and put the green here, and we have ended that move. Wave 2 should not break here now. So the first move flash to the downside, it's from here down to this area. The first bearish candle on the daily. I'm teaching you, please. And I might not spend too much time on the other ones. So now, this area now, I will quote it red. That is the limit of wave 2 in the primary, wave 1, wave 2. And we now begin to see the inside of wave 3 to the downside here right now. So I'm going to use a purple. From the top of what I consider as the limit of wave 2 down here, let's now use purple. That guides that once we cross this area to the upside, we are saying that wave 3, it's gone. Wave 3 is gone. That's what we're saying. So once wave 3 is gone, you should be counting when you're going to have your wave 4 and go back to the upside. Now, We are going to go inside now on the 4-hour time frame. So you still have your time to join this trade to the downside. Let it load. Good. So we are already seeing the sign on the 4-hour time frame that this is crossing this area. So we may be reaching the end of this wave. We may be seeing a 3-4 reaction here, and we need to begin to take this top. Once we take this top, we know that we are correcting the wave 2 to the upside. That is what I can see here now. With that said now, so we said this is limit of wave 1. It's a bit down because when you now begin to look at the internal architecture, you are going to do that on your own. So, and this is a 1. Let's use purple for that. That's a 1. A 2. And a 3 before we have a 4. So we believe that this is now a wave 2 where we have this red. Prices shouldn't break this area now. And this is a primary 2 here. Price should not break this major 2. So if I'm even considering and I'm afraid, I should just come up here and put my stop loss and allow and see what is going to happen down there. So then we want to see a wave 3. Now, with that said, let me take this out or drag it down and shade that to purple. We don't want too much line. Let me take this out, or let me just break it. Now, we are seeing this now that this is a wave 1, a wave 2, maybe 3-1, 3-2 here, and this is inside of 3. 3 should at least give us a 1618 to the downside before we can say it's a 3. And once it breaks more than 161.8, of course, we know from the reactions that we are getting upside there that it's like we are changed the direction by the break in the yellow there. So up to this point, now, we are still going to see a bit to the downside. That is what I can see here right now. We are still going to see a bit to the downside here, which means that this price technically will still get to this point before we can say that, yes, we had finished a wave 3. So then when we do that, we might break a bit up again to do a 4, then come down one more time before we now begin to see that deep correction. So I can still see that this may be going down the more before we see that correction. So that is what I can see here right now. So I think we are at the beginning of the move to the downside. Do I want to now begin to sell from here? No. I should rather wait for this to go down more, correct deeply. I can buy the deep correction, relinquish my positions around this area. It may go a bit above it, but we'll see what it will give us when we start to see that push to the upside. That is what I can see. I don't want to do more right now because I'm wasting more time. So the same way, we can take these two. We can take it to so the price may be reacting. I think we should just get this. Should not break this area here. It should not break this area here before we begin to see that reaction to the upside. That is what I think. But we are broken this area. If you see that area on the daily time frame, the support here will not be broken. I think the support of wave 2 here of these two should not be broken before we now begin to go to the upside to correct. So this may still be coming more to the downside, probably without breaking the support here. And once we see that reaction, it will be an opportunity for you to look for your sell. Take your buy to the upside, then look for sell to the downside, exit around this area, and we'll see. Now, that is what I can see. The same thing, if you look at euro dollar, euro dollar now on the monthly time frame. On the monthly time frame, euro dollar on the time frame, on the monthly time frame, on the monthly time frame, you'll see that we are not seeing anything yet, but then we can see that on the weekly time frame, I think we had reached the peak. It was more clear on the DXY. So we can see this reaction. It has never taken up the weekly here, like we saw with the DXY, but it's going to take it. It's going to break above this area. It's going to break above this area. We may be seeing reaction around between this zone, this area, if not more, but I don't think it's going to come up to this area, around this area. It won't break this area before we begin to go down to correct. So that's what I can see. So wherever you see the correction, I think December correction is what is going to look as if, oh, dollar is gaining strength. Dollar has peaked as far as I'm concerned with this now. Dollar has peaked. So what we're going to see is that correction. So like we drew on DXY, and it was more clearer, it's going to be a bit difficult for us to pick. I think this area between here, between here and here, you know, this area, the open and the close here are the areas in between. That is where we can now begin to look for the euro dollar to get to before we go up. So we are going to dwell more on that. So I think I gave us a sell limit. I might delete that. I think we will need to delete that until we burn off. I will delete and we'll wait for a proper reaction to sell. And when you are selling to take, if you've been selling lower here, you're going to take all those ones out once the price begins to go down, and you look for your buy again. So that's what we're going to do. I don't see this breaking the bottom again from the reaction we had so far. Now, if you look into the NZD USD, I think it's all the same on this other instrument. The DXY is taking a lead. NZD USD. NZD USD. So NZD USD, this may be reacting in like this form of an hammer. Unfortunately, it didn't break the bottom, so it might never break with the bottom before we begin to go up. So we might see a push up more, you know, probably more push up from NZD USD, and we'll see what it's going to give. So we're going to look more into that. I think it's the same. So on the weekly time frame on NZD USD, so what do we see here? So we can see that is the same reaction. So if anybody wants to, probably look for opportunity to begin to buy again, it will be around this open here and the close here that you should be watching for price. I don't see price coming to break the bottom right again right now. So that is what I can see. Now let's go to gold. So now it looks like the strength you're going to notice in the dollar will be corrective in December. So we'll see A leg, we'll see B leg, you will see C leg, and if they decide to waste more time, they can make it be more complex and give us a WXY. And the WXY they're going to give is not going to take those limits I talked about as the on the DXY, the third line up there, where I said will be the limit of wave 2. I think that is what we can see. They can waste our time, burn off our time. So we'll look for ways we can, still get something decent in December, because it's going to be highly corrective. And you'll be thinking that, oh, dollar is going up again. But I can see the sign that this dollar is not going to break the top again. Now on gold is a bit tricky. Let's look at the monthly on gold. I think gold is not still ready to, go and take the top yet. We had seen this move. Gold, giving us this on the monthly time frame. It has taken these to the downside on the monthly time frame. We are seeing a reaction to the upside. I think if anybody wants to probably bet on gold, we shouldn't see gold taking this top for now. Any gold breaking 27445 area means that we are back up. And on the weekly time frame, on gold, probably the corrective nature of DXY in December might just give us the second leg of a B here, sorry, a C here. We might have seen this as an A B. This may have peaked, but if we should take the top again, then we are actually going to break up. So we should not break this top again. I think we should be looking at this area now here as a possible area that the price may come to for us to pick. Probably we are doing a wave 1 and a wave 2 to the top, to the upside, and to sell the wave 3 of this C leg to the downside. That is what I can probably want to, the way I should align myself now. So I should align myself that this is the area that I should be expecting the white. I should make that white or a pink. That is the area I will be expecting price to come up to sell further. I'm still looking for myself, except something exchanges. If I quickly go to the monthly, where I said I don't want us to break right now, and I want to push that, the other one, to the downside. Now, so I mean that this area is an area I'm not expecting price to come and take right now. If we are to come to the downside, and I will put big red there. So that's an area I don't expect price to break. So with that marked, all we can now begin to align ourselves is what wave is doing. So on the weekly time frame now, the high confluence area on the weekly time frame will be this area here, which coincide with this area here. That's the area I will be looking again to pick a buy, and so to pick a sell order. We must be looking at this area for the price to push to that area to pick a sell for a further drop. So on the daily time frame, we can see that this is like an ABC of an A or a W. This is now looks like an X now. With the first move to the downside right now, and with the corrective nature here, for like in a day we had this big move, and for 4 days now we have been seeing some corrections here. It can only be corrective for us to pick, our order to sell again. So looking at that, what does it come to? So what it comes to is that, like I said, this is the area I don't expect price to come and take on the monthly. And this is the area, high confluence area, I'm looking for price to come to for us to pick a sell, a further sell, a further sell. So whatever it is, we'll be looking more into an ABC structure that this is giving us. And if it's giving us an ABC structure, you know, 100% is really at this fringe, very close to that. You know, we might just have some shots, you know, above this area. So these are high confluence area where we're going to see this move in the coming week. I think we having a push down right now on the daily, but I don't think that this is ready to break down. So if you want to know on the daily where this should not take, I believe this is where you should be looking at your daily support right now. On the dollar, and also on gold, your daily support should not take this close here. Anything, any breakout of that, we are done. We are done buying, and you maybe now be looking for how to plan your entry. So I see that this is going to go. This is not going to hold anything. It's going to go. So right now, that is what I can see here. So going to the 4-hour time frame, like I said, on the 4-hour time frame now, on gold. So we are seeing these as a big C to the downside that is coming to the downside. The first one, the first move was here, which is an A in the blue, B in the blue, and within the C in the blue that we are trying to do, you know, it was because I saw that it might just break up. I said, break even, so you have not lost anything. The price is still playing around that area. So I see this as a wave 1 now and a wave 2 ABC to the upside. If they're going to get more complex, we'll see. Now, this comes to the downside. We don't want to take this daily close now. Price should not break this. These are things you can do on your own and see that price actually is not going to break this until they go up again. So they might be seeing a wave A here, you know, of that move to the upside of the C, because C is going to be divided into also an ABC. So this might just be the first wave, and this might be an ABC of the second wave, and the last wave may just be within this vicinity without probably, this is a very high confluence area. So we'll see how, at least it shouldn't be more than within here and here of this an A and a C in the golden yellow. The 100 extension is here, which I believe is going to break above it. And 1, 2, 3 is around this area. I believe within this zone and this zone, price is going to react to the downside. And most probably you should be looking at, if it's like a 2 to that, you should be looking at between 618 and 76. So if you're going to do that, we are using FIB, we are using everything. So 76 is around this area. Between this zone here, without breaking this area, between this zone, price is going to probably walk above. And if you get a reaction around 618, why not? You take it. Is the price action that we want. But with this correction to the downside, that correction is big enough and tells me price is going to break this area. So price may just walk around between this zone. That's the zone. The zone of how many pips from this area to this area. That's about 120 pips. That's 120 pips. Within that zone, price is going to react to the downside. So we should be watching for reaction to the downside. And with that, okay, I didn't touch USD pound dollar. Let's look at pound dollar before I close. The monthly candle. The monthly candle, pound dollar. British pound dollar. It's going to be the same thing that you expect. Now, so we are seeing that reaction, I think. Like I said, it might not break this and it's not breaking it. So we are seeing that reaction on the monthly and on the weekly. What is the price action on the weekly? If it closed like that. So obviously we are going back up. If it closed like this, we will expect a correction of probably wave 2 to go further to the upside. That is what I can see. And those things I gave us, I think I gave us some levels in my video. Let's see. Yeah, price really came down to this point. It's almost touching it, but price is now reacting slightly above it. So we are going to be looking for our, correction to the downside to it's going to be very tricky if price is going to break down. I wouldn't want to bet that. You can see where it reacted. I remember I was telling us that, okay, a 161.8 to the downside should be in the red. Between here and here, we should see reaction. So, and that is what it's looking like now. It may have bottomed here slightly before picking your order here. It may have bottomed, and we are seeing this might just be a 4 and a 5 wave. The 5th wave, you can see. I think I did a whole lot here last week. That is, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3, and this is 4, and this is 5. So it's done. We are going up. So let it do a micro 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the upside without breaking this area. We're going to be seeing reaction to sell again. And that sell may take the whole of December or the first 2 weeks to sell, correction, and all of that before we go up again. So we are already looking to buy. I think with that, I've come to the end of today's I will be doing a separate video on dollar yen right now. So watch out for that in a couple of minutes. Bye.